time now for Business with Fernand van Tetz. Let's start with a look at the markets. Any reaction to the Trump victory?
Well, the Dow closed on a record high yesterday. In Asia today, a much more mixed picture. Yesterday also rallying, but today only the Shanghai Composite really still very much up. It's risen 20% since January, with copper and mining stocks leading today. But what a Trump victory means for emerging markets continuing to cause worry, both for exports and capital fleeing back to the US as markets brace for interest hikes there. The Jakarta Composite down almost 3%. That's its sharpest drop in over a year. And we can also see the effects of that stronger dollar weakening the yen and pushing the Nikkei up to finish much higher there.
So some markets are a bit rattled by Trump's potential policies. Are we hearing anything more specific from countries that will be impacted by what he could decide to do?
Well, Mexico, of course, that is the big one. That was featured in the rhetoric throughout the campaign. We are hearing from Mexico. He said that they are willing to discuss the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, with the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. He's, of course, repeatedly slammed that deal throughout his campaign. Economy Minister Ildefonso Guajardo said Mexico would try to explain the strategic importance of the agreement for the region to Mr. Trump. He also said he would try to find a way to make the Trans-Pacific Partnership work with or without the United States. The TPP was supposed to modernize NAFTA, but now looks unlikely to be ratified by the next US Congress.
And in China, it's one of the biggest shopping events in the world. Lonely Hearts are celebrating today?
Yeah, so it is Singles' Day in China. This is, of course, the shopping bonanza that started off in about 2009. It's actually bigger than Black Friday, that big shopping event in the United States. Just to give you an idea of how big it is, we're only not even halfway through the day, and Alibaba, who started the tradition, has already sold $12 billion worth of goods online. Now, it has definitely evolved from a consolation sale for lonely singles to a national spending holiday. As China's economy continues to slow, all eyes are on domestic consumer confidence, and our correspondents have met with one young man who is eager to spend on this yearly marathon shopping spree.
Besides his cat, Jianjun doesn't share his bed with anyone. This young single Beijinger is a regular e-commerce shopper.
In general, I buy 4 or 5 times a week. It could be clothes, food, or anything, actually.
November 11th is a special day. Singles seek comfort through buying themselves gifts. Last year, Jianjun spent 1/3 of his salary, and he plans to do it again this year.
I just bought this coat on Taobao. It was delivered today. And last year, I bought bottles of wine and an e-reader, as well as these earrings.
However, November 11th is not just for singles. The whole country shops online on this would-be holiday, turned into a shopping day in 2009 by e-commerce giant Alibaba. This startup does consulting on marketing. According to his boss, 450 million Chinese people under the age of 35 regularly shop online.
They've got strong purchasing power and they prefer buying online. They buy everything, from cars to jewelry, handbags, and luxury products. They can spend thousands of yuan on the internet.
The consequence of this spending spree? Thousands of packages sprawled over the ground. Last year, Alibaba made a $13.5 billion profit in 24 hours, roughly 2.5 times Black Friday in the US. And this year, the company is expecting an even bigger performance.
Let's take a look at some of the day's other business stories for you now. The US networking site LinkedIn will be blocked in Russia within days because it failed to move personal data storage to the country. Last year, local authorities there made it mandatory for foreign internet companies to store Russian clients' personal data on servers located within the country. Services included Google, eBay, Booking.com, and Uber have taken steps to move their personal data storage to Russia. LinkedIn is the first to fall foul of the new ruling. Disney forecasts renewed growth despite early concerns over lower advertising sales and subscriber losses at the ESPN sports network. Revenue from its theme parks rose 0.6% to almost $4.4 billion, mostly due to the success of its new park in Shanghai. Attendance declined at Disney's parks in Hong Kong, California, and here in Paris, with the latter especially hard hit by the Paris attacks last year. And Royal Dutch Shell will seek to invest $10 billion in Brazil over the next 5 years in order to expand its ultra-deep water oil exploration and production fields there. Brazil recently changed its regulation to open up the sector. The Anglo-Dutch oil company is already the largest foreign investor in Brazil, where it operates 5,500 energy stations.
All right. Thanks for all that business news, Fernand van Tetz.